Hey guys, so I'm visible on the screen. Welcome back once again. Our great evening for you all. चलो मैं भूल गया कि गुड मॉर्निंग बोलना है, गुड इवनिंग बोलना है. टेकिंग प्राइवेट क्लासेस इन द मॉर्निंग, फिर उसको अपलोड करो, फिर सेंड करो, देन टेक इवनिंग क्लासेस, afternoon classes. Today I delivered offline batch lectures. We talked about Hamlet, Oedipus complex, Hamlet's artistic failure concept, then Hamlet's reference in objective correlative, and along with these things, we went for feminist study of Hamlet in offline batch. आज हमने सारी चीजें की हैं और हमने ओथेलो खत्म कर दिया. We have done Othello. So as this is a special session, last class we already have done these things, right? Already we हमने ये पहले किया हुआ है. Okay, let me just check this. ये कहाँ से चलता है? From here. I've taken this. Hold on. We have to switch to this mode. Okay, this one is this. And we have to get back to this. And yeah, so we have last class. We have talked about these 53 books. Last session हमने 53 books के बारे में बात की थी. Now we are going for अदर बॉक्स. तो आज हम करेंगे इनमें से क्या क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है, पेपर में क्या आ सकता है. आफ्टर दिस नेक्स्ट क्लास आई विल बी गोइंग फॉर द लिस्ट ऑफ इंडियन ऑथर्स. हम इंडियन ऑथर्स की बात करेंगे. एंड क्रैश कोर्स स्टूडेंट प्राइवेट क्लास ऑन साइको एनालिसिस थ्योरी, जेक्स लकान, द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ रियल, सिंबॉलिक, इमेजिनरी, मिरर इमेज, फैलिस, दीज थिंग्स हैव बीन शेयर्ड. प्राइवेट क्लास में जो बच्चे हैं क्रैश कोर्स में, उनको क्लास अभी थोड़ी देर में मिल जाएगी. I already have shared it with the team. आपको जल्दी क्लास मिल जाएगी. चलो, so before we go for these things, before we start this session, let's have a rapid fire. थोड़ा सा एक छोटा सा rapid fire कर लेते हैं. I can see some comments. आपके कुछ comments यहाँ पे दिखाई दे रहे हैं. So let's have a session of rapid fire. Ready? If you're ready, you can write down in the comments. I know whatever I'll speak, it will be 5 seconds late. 5 seconds थोड़ा सा लेट होगा. फाइन. ओके, दिस बोर्ड इज नॉट क्लियरली विजिबल. आई होप ये अब विजिबल होगा. ओके, सो यू गाइस आर रेडी. ओके, माय क्वेश्चन स्टार्ट्स. इन Virginia Woolf's To the Lighthouse, what is the name of the painter? The question starts with this. Virginia Woolf's Lighthouse, what is the name of the painter? Yesterday I have talked about these books. I'm asking the question from these books only. I gave you this list. I told you to read these books. I am asking questions from this section only. Because yesterday I told you to read these things. So, when we talked about The Lighthouse, this book, question number 15, the book number 15. What is the name of the painter? So, the first answer we have received, and that is by Melanie Alexander, Lily Briscoe. Now, okay, now this thing, the another question that goes is the American tragedy, an American tragedy. So yesterday when I was talking about an American tragedy, there were 3 characters, 2 girls, Sandra and Roberta. What is the name of the boy? So tell me the answer. There are 2 girls, Sandra and Roberta. What is the name of the boy? Come on, time starts now. Theodore Dreiser, The American Tragedy. Waiting for the right answer. Too late. Lipika. Clyde Griffin. Clyde. Yes, the right answer is Clyde. Okay. 1984, George Orwell. There is a line, Big Brother is watching you. Tell me this thing. They have 3 different ministries. What are the names of those ministries in 1984? What are the names of those ministries? After this, I will ask one more question for rapid fire. Then I will be going for important books. I'll be telling you the important books so that you can read, prepare, and hit the exam. Ministry of Fear, Ministry of Love, Ministry of Truth. Great. Bahut badhiya. Now, one more question, the last question from this session. What is the name of the hero in the story Native Son? In the story Native Son, what is the name of the hero who kills a girl and finally commits suicide? In my last class, I told this thing. Batao. What is the name of that girl? The name of that boy? The name of the hero? Waiting for the right answer, reading your comments. And here we go for the right answer. कल बताया था मैंने. Bigger Thomas, Krishna Gopal. Krishna Gopal has written it in capitals. Bigger Thomas. Great. Now let's go for the other box, as we have to save time for you all. And yes, yesterday I told you Pale Fire, the title has been taken from William Shakespeare. So I have confirmed it. The title has been taken from William Shakespeare from the book Timon of Athens. This deals with greed and false friends. Last question from this book was asked, what is invective? So in which Shakespearean book we find many examples of invective? So Timon of Athens. Invective is a beautiful, dignified way of insulting someone. किसी को insult करनी लेकिन शब्द बहुत अच्छे हैं. Instead of using abusive words, you are bringing good words. So you are insulting somebody with great words. Most smiling, soothing bears, parasites. These kind of lines are here. So most smiling, soothing bears and parasites. Most smiling, soothing, but parasite. This is invective. Remember this thing. Now let's go for the books. Book number 54. Light in August. No need to read. Light in August by William Faulkner पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. You can leave it. Only title is okay. Title is important. As it is mentioned in 100 best books, no doubt title is important. But no need to read. Instead of this, Light in Asia. Light in Asia. Write down the name of this book. It is written by Edwin Arnold. That deals with Buddhism. Once question has been asked in exam. Edwin Arnold, that deals with Buddhism, Light in Asia. You can remember that title also, that has been asked in exam. Then comes On the Road by Jack Kerouac. This is very important work. You don't have to read the detail, but remember this point. On the Road by Jack Kerouac deals with actually a journey. William S. Barrow, Neil Cassandri, Allen Ginsberg, and Jack Kerouac. 4 friends go for the journey. So what you have to remember, these 4 friends are actually the authors, 4 authors, and these are the member of Beat Generation. These are the member of Beat Generation. All of these 4 authors, they have 4 names in the book. So make sure you remember those 4 names and 4 authors. So abhi kya karna hai? What do you have to do? It deals with Beat Generation, the part of postmodern novels. When you open this thing, 4 writers. Who are these 4 friends? The 4 authors, Jack Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg, William S. Barrow, and Neil Cassady. इनके pseudonyms हैं. There are pseudonyms used in this. So make sure you remember the pseudonyms of those 4 writers. That can be a very good question. Then ignore the book number 56. You can ignore Parade's End, only title. This is very important title. Don't forget. The Good Soldier, The Parade's End. The titles are important. Then The Age of Innocence is the first Pulitzer awardee book by a woman. So it has the first Pulitzer award by a woman. First Pulitzer for literature by a woman. So only title, no need to read this thing. Then Zuleika Dobson, subtitle, An Oxford Love Story. It has been asked in exam. So for this book, only subtitle. For this book, only subtitle, An Oxford Love Story. An Oxford Love Story. Those who want to watch the first part of this video, it is in the description. So you can check the first part. Then the moviegoer, you can ignore, no need to go for title, no need to go for anything. Then Death Comes for the Archbishop, you can ignore. Technically title is important, but ignore, no issues. Book number 62 you can ignore. Book number 63 you can ignore. इनको ignore कर सकते हो. They are world classics. No doubt they are the best works. But in our syllabus, the categories of our syllabus, they are not included. So you can just ignore those books. But then this one, ये नहीं भूलना है आपको. Catcher in the Rye, the banned book. book was banned in America? So please remember this thing. Catcher in the Rye story है जो एक छोटे बच्चे की story है. 17-year-old boy who is not only very delinquent, वो सिर्फ शैतान नहीं है. He is, exploring his sexuality as his age is 16 years, 17 years. So he's actually having, kind of lusting for some female teachers, then doing a lot of, delinquent things. School में बहुत सारी शैतानी करना, bunking करना, then female students and some all these things. In short, this American book was banned. ये ban हो गई थी. It was banned so that the kids don't read it and don't behave like that. But it is a world classic. Find out the name of the hero. This is very important. A Clockwork Orange is a dystopian book. No need to read, but title is very important. Multiple times they have asked the question, so title is important. You can leave the book. Of Human Bondage. Once it has been asked in exam, but only title, no need to read. Only title, उसको पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. Then comes Heart of Darkness. You can't ignore. इसको जरूर पढ़ना है. It is one of the best post-colonial work, also the controversial work. So it is not only the modern novel, it also is connected to post-colonials. White man talking about atrocities done by white. Famous character Kurds. And Charles Marlowe. Don't forget to read this book. It's very important from post-colonial point of view. सबसे important चीज है, there are some quotations. London is the darkest place on earth. That is a famous line by Kurds. So London is the darkest place on earth. Famous line by Kurds. Then when Kurds dies, so before he dies, he says horror, horror, horror. Question in NET exam was asked that when Mr. Kurds died, he said horror, horror, horror. But when his girlfriend questions Marlowe, what were the last words by Kurds? Marlowe says he took your name. Why Marlowe lied? This is a question of NET exam. It's very important book. Ivory trade se related hai, deals with the forest life, colonization, and along with these things, it also deals with Amazon forest and a ship journey. Marlowe is in search of Kurds. Presence of Kurds is some kind of mysterious thing. Plus, T.S. Eliot has taken the epigraph of his poetry, Mr. Kurds He Dead, from Hollow Man. This is very important. Don't forget. Heart of Darkness बहुत important है. Highly controversial भी है because for this particular book, Chinua Achebe called him bloody racist. In 1975, he was delivering a lecture, Racism in Conrad's Heart of Darkness. So while delivering this speech, Chinua Achebe called him bloody racist. Joseph Conrad को bloody racist बोला था. Plus, Joseph Conrad, he uses his marine experience and his English is mixed in Polish style. So Polish English mixture is a unique style of writing. So when you read this, please remember this thing. Conrad's English itself is an example of creolization. बहुत important है. Don't forget this thing. Actually यही आपको जानना होता है कि बुक में पढ़ना क्या है. Main Street, it was once important. Now they don't ask. House of Mirth, Edith Wharton, you can leave. Then the Alexandria Quartet by Lawrence Durrell, only title, no need to read. He developed a new language to write it. Only title, no need to read. A High Wind in Jamaica, you can ignore. But then comes A House of Mr. Vishwas. ये आपको ignore नहीं करना है. Then comes House of Mr. Vishwas. So here you have to remember this thing that it is written on the character Mr. Mohan Vishwas, or Mohan Vishwas is based on V.S. Naipaul's father. It is a highly celebrated post-colonial story set in Trinidad. Mr. Mohan Vishwas, when he is born, there is a prophecy. A Pandit says that this man is born in some ill, bad timing. The stars are not in favor, and this son will be the reason of his father's death. Then actually happens, father dies. Mohan Vishwas is sent abroad in Trinidad. There he starts flirting with a 16-year-old girl, which results in his marriage. He gets married in Tulsi family, living in Hanuman house. How he is overpowered, how he is not respected, how he takes revenge by spitting on his in-laws, the use of Hindi language, the use of English language. the third generation who are modern, the first generation who still use Indian languages. It's a finest post-colonial story. He tries to make his house 3 times. One time, this is destroyed by people who are angry. Second time, he himself makes a fire. Third time, he buys a house, but it is sold actually. He's in heavy debts. It's a finest story. You must read it. Don't forget this thing. Then, book number 73, ignore. Book number 74, Reference of Rain. Ernest Hemingway himself participated in war, and when he was trying to save another soldier, he got injured. Ernest Hemingway was taken to the hospital. In that hospital, when Hemingway woke up, he fell in love with a nurse. He saw a nurse, he fell in love. This story, Ernest Hemingway's personal story, is mentioned here. 70 to 80% story is same. That's why it is semi-autobiographical. Semi-autobiographical. The name of the heroine, Catherine. Hero, Frederick Henry. Farewell to Arms. Arms is pun. Means weapons and arms. So please remember this thing. And it has symbol of rain. Whenever it rains, tragedy happens to Catherine. And when Catherine dies at the end, Frederick Henry goes out of the hospital and he sees it's raining. So it's very important. Don't forget this thing. Then Scoop, you can go for Title by Evelyn Waugh. Then comes my all-time favorite, The Prime of Miss Jane Brodie. One of the finest books that deals with psychoanalysis theory. Psychoanalysis theory. अगर ये नहीं पढ़ा तो कुछ नहीं पढ़ा लाइफ में. In Delhi University, we had a conference over it. Psychoanalysis theory. The Prime of Miss Jane Brodie, a school teacher. She has desires, she has likes, dislikes, she has longings, but she cannot. She hides her emotions. She controls her emotions and then makes a group of 6 kids, 6 small girls, 6 choti bachchiyan, and calls them Brodie set. She chooses 6 girls from nursery, controls them, teaches them, makes them behave. 6 बच्चों की personal mentoring करती है. 6 girls mentored by her. She makes them think like her. She makes them behave like her. And when these kids, they reach to their classes of 12th, 11th, like they are grown up, she gets her desires fulfilled by those 6 girls. For example, Miss Jane Brodie wanted to have an affair with a maths teacher. She makes one of her students form affair with the maths teacher. This is how she puts her mind, her ideas in the mind of those kids. But one of that girl tells the principal and she reveals it, and philosophically she speaks. There was Miss Brodie once in her primer. The Prime of Miss Jane Brodie is one of the finest work that deals with psychoanalysis theory. Must read है, बहुत important है. Please remember Brodie said क्या था? The group of those 6 girls. She tells them that you are elite. Don't talk to anyone. Don't make friends. Just remember, you girls belong to Brodie set. You are elite. You are highly qualified. Don't talk to anyone. That's an important thing. Don't forget. It's very important. Finnegan's Wake, last question that has been asked in that exam. What is the last word? So the last word of Finnegan's Wake is the. ये question था कि last word क्या है? The. No need to read the story. Written in 1941. कहानी पढ़ने का मतलब नहीं है क्योंकि कहानी है ही नहीं. There is no story. If you try to read, you can't read. So, if you try to read, you can't read. Why? 41 plus languages. There are so many languages which are even developed by him. It is one of the finest and complex works of modern postmodern literature. Toughest work है ये. Multiple languages mixed. You won't be able to understand. Kim, the story of Kimberly O'Hara, 1901 novel, important by Rudyard Kipling. कुछ नहीं भूलना इसमें. Kimberly O'Hara. Remember the search of Sacred River. What is Sacred River in the story? Remember that search. Also remember the concept of Lama. Why Lama says that you are a Sahib and Kim says I am not Sahib, I am thy Chela. Remember these things. ये आपको सारा याद रखना है. And then you have to remember the concept of the great game. What is the great game? The great game concept क्या है? Remember these points. ये points नहीं भूलने. That's very important. Last line, he says, I am not Sahib, I am thy Chela. Remember this thing. ये बहुत important है. Then comes Room with a View, only title, no need to read. But for E.M. Foster, Passes to India, Howard's and Morris. Morris for homosexuality. ये जरूर आगे याद करना. Brideshead Revisited, no need to read. Once it has been asked, title जरूर important है. Evelyn Waugh. इससे पहले Scoop आया था. Remember these titles are important. You don't have to miss it. Then we go for, okay, we have done book number 80. अब चलते हैं दोबारा से दूसरी वाली बुक्स के लिए. लास्ट डेज है. अब जितना and whatever I am suggesting पढ़ लेना. Whatever I am suggesting पढ़ लेना. This will save you. Remember the last exam videos I posted 3 days back, 4 days back, 5 days back. There were many questions. Repeating again. I have picked 100 best novels and I'm telling you in every book what to read. So if you have just watched second video, part 1 is given in description. Watch it. If you're watching it first time, don't hesitate to subscribe. Do good things. Feel happy. Chalo, come on. See, this man is a Nobel awardee, Saul Below. He has written many other books, Harjog and Henderson, The Rain King, many books. Only title, no need to read. But once this book was famous, no need to read. Angel of Repose, again title. Title almost sabke hi hai. Then comes V.S. Naipaul, A Bend in the River. Again title, no need to go for any reading. But remember, in A Bend of the River, just check which river they are talking about. They are talking about Ganges. Then, The Death of the Heart by Elizabeth Bowen. Once this has been asked, so technically I would recommend you the title only, no need to read. Lord Jim, again very important. It is very important because written by Joseph Conrad. Heart of Darkness, Nigger of Narcissus and Lord Jim. ये सब important है. Nostromo we can ignore. Then, Ragtime You Can Leave. In Old Wives' Tale, just remember the names of these women. There are two girls, Sophia and Constance. They both fell in love with people and ran away in an early age. They meet each other at the old age. After 50 years, 40 years they meet. So they both are very old. They meet each other. They talk about their life. Book is divided in 4 parts. Role of mother, story of Sophia, story of Constance. Last part of the book, the title has been asked in exam. What is life? What is life is the title of the last part. So they have asked this question that in Old Wives' Tale, what is the title of the 4th part? 4th part's title is What is Life? Then, my all-time favorite book, The Call of the Wild by Jack London. Story of a missing dog, a dog that goes missing actually, stolen. Somebody steals the dog for money and how that dog travels and becomes a leader. So all the pet lovers can watch the movie also. For here you just have to remember the title. No need to read. Sirf title काफी है. No need to read. Then Loving by Henry Green, ignore कर दो, जाने दो, फालतू बुक है. Midnight Children. So हमने अगर Midnight Children नहीं पढ़ा तो कुछ नहीं पढ़ा. Remember this thing? Magic Realism. In Midnight Children, Magic Realism. The role of Shiva, Parvati and other characters. How these kids have power. What is the concept of partition? Midnight. How these babies were born in the midnight and only these babies have special powers. Telepathy powers. Along with this, these characters represent the partition scene. For this book, the controversy got created. There was a case filed against him. So make sure you remember that. Don't forget this. Then you can leave Tobacco Road. Leave it. Ironweed, you can leave. The Magus, you can leave. But then, the White Sargasso Sea. Last net exam, there are questions. This book is always important, so don't forget this thing. It is the prequel of Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This book is prequel. So please remember, they will simply ask you that this book is written on Bertha Mason. Who is Bertha Mason? A famous character from Jane Eyre who has been called the Mad Woman in attic. Along with this, remember the real name of Bertha Mason, Antoinette Suzanne. This is very important. बहुत important story है, post colonial work है, also the part of Caribbean literature. This book is also added as the part of Caribbean literature. Those who don't know what is Caribbean literature, watch my video on Caribbean literature. I have recorded this video in Goa. When I was in Goa, I shot that video. In a single video, you will be writing down all the Caribbean writers. आपको फ्रैंक कैरमोंड मिल जाएगा, वाइट सरगेसोसी का राइटर जीन रीज मिल जाएगा, डेरेक वॉलकॉट मिल जाएगा, कुछ और राइटर्स मिल जाएंगे. So go for it. Then, under the net, once it was very important, but right now for 2024, only title. पहले बहुत important था. Sophie Choice, whenever I teach you Holocaust, in Holocaust literature, I have always talked about this thing. So if you are old students or you are students from batch, if you already have online classes or my lectures, but whenever I teach Holocaust literature, I mention Sophie Choice, must read, very important. Then you can ignore this book, you can ignore this book, दोनों बेकार हैं, अच्छी नहीं है. Then you can go for the title of the Ginger Man and the next book can be totally ignored. ये आप देख सकते हो और इसको आप ignore कर सकते हो. Now the question comes, sir, और क्या पढ़ें? Last minute में क्या क्या कर सकते हैं? I'm giving you 5 to 7 writers from my side. मेरी तरफ से कुछ writers हैं. आज का आज खत्म कर लो. That's very important. Now, I'll write here only. यहाँ पे जगह है काफी. So write down these writers from my side. If you have not done, please cover these writers. Saadat Hasan Manto. Famous book, Toba Takes Sing. Post-colonial and also deals with partition trauma. Partition trauma multiple चीजों में आता है. So it is the part of post-colonials, it is the part of partition literature, it is the part of traumas literature. एक book दोनों चीजों में आएगी, तीनों चीजों में आएगी. Then, as there are many questions asked from Indian literature, I am telling you to write down these. Ismat Chughtai. Don't forget to read Lihaf. Very important story. Lihaf, the blanket. It's very important. They'll simply ask you, Lihaf was actually taken to the court for obscenity, but then it survived. Then, Bapsi Sidhwa. Famous work, Ice Candy Man. Also called Cracking India. Ice Candy Man was published in India under the title Cracking India. It's very important. Please don't forget this. This is very important. Then, Shauna Singh Baldwin. Shauna Singh Baldwin. Famous book, What the Body Remembers. Famous character Sardarji. What the Body Remembers. Famous character Sardarji. Next lecture mein I will be telling you, teaching you these Indian writers and I'll be telling you a list of Indian writers for your help. Make sure you finish these things today. Indian literature से questions आ रहे हैं, so it can help you. Now, there is a briefing for all of you. आप सबके लिए एक briefing है. There is a briefing and announcement for all of you. Rakhi special Google Drive course discount आ रहा है. So all the students who want to take offline batch classes, there should be no difference. Let everyone have high standard. So somebody is not able to take that standard. Somebody is having a next level standard. So अगर आपको घर बैठे दिल्ली वाली क्लास चाहिए, तो रक्षाबंधन स्पेशल ऑफर है जिसकी लास्ट डेट राखी की है. लिमिटेड आपके लिए ऑफर है फॉर गूगल ड्राइव. साथ में आपको स्पेशल ऑफर मिल रहा है नोट्स के लिए भी. जो नोट्स का प्राइसेस है 13,500 टिल राखी. ये आपको 11,000 में मिलेगा, 2,500 एज इट इज आपको ऑफ दिया जा रहा है। ये रक्षाबंधन ऑफर है। जस्ट कोऑर्डिनेट कॉन्टैक्ट ऑन गिवन नंबर्स, आप दिए हुए नंबरों पे बात कर सकते हो। देयर इज अ नंबर गिवन ऑन योर स्क्रीन, आपकी स्क्रीन पे है। सो यूटिलाइज दिस ऑफर सो दैट यू डोंट मिस इट। द बेस्ट थिंग इज स्टूडेंट्स दे कम टू दिल्ली, दे लिव इन हॉस्टल्स, रहने का खर्चा, हॉस्टल फीस, फूडिंग, लॉजिंग, spending a lot of money on unnecessary breakfast, tea, books, printouts, other things, surviving in Delhi, you are going to get the same class at home. दिल्ली वाली क्लास घर पे। लेकिन सिर्फ इतना ध्यान रखना, रक्षाबंधन, राखी is the last day to avail this offer. To know this offer, to know the details, WhatsApp me on the given number जो आपके स्क्रीन पे आ रहा है। मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट सेशन में, एंड स्टे ट्यून्ड, आई एम गोइंग फॉर क्विज सेशन। जैसे आपने लिखा है ना कृष्ण गोपाल ने कि क्विज सेशन, थोड़ा इंडियन लिटरेचर पढ़ लो। लास्ट 7-8 डेज विल बी गोइंग फॉर क्विज सेशन, टॉपिक वाइज क्विज सेशन करेंगे हम। स्टे ट्यून्ड, डोंट वरी, एंड रिमेंबर दिस थिंग, व्हाटएवर आई हैव सजेस्टेड, कवर दीज थिंग्स फ्रेंड्स। ये बचा लेगा आपको एग्जाम में। देयर आर चांसेस एग्जाम विल बी टफ, देयर आर चांसेस एग्जाम कैन बी एनालिटिकल, कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव। एग्जाम को कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव बनाने की कोशिश हो सकती है। फिनिश दीज थिंग्स, इट विल बी सेविंग यू इन द लास्ट डेज। ऊपर वाले का नाम लो, गिव योर बेस्ट। मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट क्लास में। थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू।